Hey, good morning, troops, or good afternoon, troops. Just wanted to give you guys a little video on significant figures. Now, significant figures aren't going to be about famous people. They're going to be about numbers and how to count numbers. Kind of like when we did our graduated cylinder measurement, is you have to be able to report things that mean something, that have some value. So significant figures are just that. So if you look at this paper that has been given to you, it says significant figures are all digits in a measurement known exactly plus a last digit which is going to be estimated. So whatever that last digit is in your number is said to be an estimated value. So for instance, if you read your scale in a lab and it came out as 12.01 grams, that one, since it's the last number, is going to be the estimated digit. Now, could this be 12.02? Could it be 12.03? Yeah, maybe sometimes it could, because that last number, if you think about it, might be flickering up or down. So that is why we have that as an estimated digit. Okay, so here are a few rules for significant figures, and we're going to go over these today. Is rule 1, all non-zero digits are significant. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Oh, it has a 0 in it, but we will be looking at how to deal with zeros with significant figures later. So rule number 2, a 0 that is simply a placeholder is not significant. Okay, so how do you decide if a 0 is merely a placeholder or if it is a significant figure? So here's what we do. We have something called the Atlantic Pacific rule. So if you are looking at a map of the United States, the Pacific Ocean is on the left-hand side, and the Atlantic is on the right-hand side. So this is going to be very valuable because what we are going to do is we are going to use the P in Pacific and the A in Atlantic to give a direction in which you guys count and where to start from. So if a decimal point is present, then you're going to count from the Pacific side or the left-hand side. So for instance, this 24.00 centimeters has a decimal. Is the decimal present? Yes, it is. So we're going to start from the left-hand side. Here, 27,000 does not have a decimal. So we are going to we are actually going to count from the right-hand side. 0.0450 is the decimal present? Yes, it is. So we're going to start counting on that side. 40.00, yes, it also has a decimal. 0.005, yes, it also has a decimal. 1608 or 1608 does not have a decimal, so you're going to count from there. And then finally, this one does. Okay, so once you have established that that it has a decimal or not, you're going to count from that direction. Now, once you see here, start with the first non-zero digit. So here we're going to count from the left because the decimal was present. And we're going to start here at the first non-zero digit. Once you start counting, do not stop, do not pass go, do not collect your $200. So we're going to start here, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why this has 4 significant figures. Okay, now the next one, 27,000. This does not have a decimal, so we're going to count from this direction and move that way. Okay, so we're going to count from here and move that way. All right, so start at the first non-zero digit. No, no, no. Oh, yeah. 1, 2. So that only has 2 sig figs. Okay, so those zeros are merely placeholders at this point. Okay, so let's look at this one. This does have a decimal. Don't count the zeros. Start counting at the first non-zero digit. Once you start counting, count everything. 1, 2, 3. So that has 3 sig figs. Okay, on the next one. Is the decimal present? Yes, we already made our arrow out here. So we're going to count from this direction. Oh, look at there. First non-zero digit. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one has 4 sig figs. And E also has nothing, 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 nothing. Oh, just 1 sig fig. 16,608 does not. So we have a non-zero digit. We're going to count in that direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one has 4 sig figs. Okay, here. Nothing, nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig figs. 5 sig figs. Okay, now, once you get an idea of counting, there are other ways that you can make non-zeros significant where they once were not significant. So we do that 2 ways. Obviously, if you had an example of 1,000 like we did below, 1,000, if you wanted 4 sig figs, all you have to do is put a decimal there. Okay? And that would give you 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. Now, if the same number, 1,000, what if you only wanted 3 sig figs? Well, this case, you would have to use a bar. So a bar over a 0 indicates that the 0 is significant. Okay? So if you only wanted 3 significant figures, this does not have a decimal, so we can start counting. And once we start counting, you do not stop. But see, there's that bar over that 3. So I'm going to say there's 1, 2, 3 significant figures. Or if you have the same number, 1,000, and you want 2 significant figures, so you'd go 2. Now this doesn't, by putting a bar over it here, doesn't change the value of this. It's not 10. It's still 1,000. Okay? It just has a different number of significant figures. So the bar can be used in a sense of where you don't want to change the value. So if I said I wanted 2 sig figs, and someone uses a decimal and you put a decimal there, well, in your mind you said, oh, I have 2 sig figs. Well, no, in reality you still have 4 significant figures. However, the big problem is you have now changed the value of this number. It is no longer 1,000. If I owed you $1,000 and I gave you 10, you would be upset with me. Or merely ask where my other $990 were. So on the back of this, we are going to practice some of these answers. Is the decimal present? Yes, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the decimal present? Yes, it is. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Boom. 1, 2 sig figs. Skip down here. Is the decimal present? No. Do not start at the 0. You start at the 9. 1, 2, 3 sig figs. Over here. Is the decimal present? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4 sig figs. 4. Here. No. No decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, no decimal again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sig figs. Okay, let's do one more. The last one. Sig fig. Decimal, start on the left-hand side. Nothing, nothing, nothing. 1, 2. Okay. So hopefully this is a nice little video that you guys can use and view when you need to and reference back. But that is it. If you have anything else, then we'll probably have a call or something. But this is a review of how to count significant figures.